Brown County, Indiana, 260 square miles of American heartland, nestled deep in the wooded valleys between the Hoosier and the Yellowwood National Forests. A place of such striking and pristine beauty, it was only natural that its nearly 200-year-old county town of Nashville would become home for many of the country's most notable and visionary artists. Artists who have made the Brown County Art Colony one of the most vibrant, unique, enduring, and vital centers of creativity in the country today. A creative vitality that drew one of the colony's most prominent members to this idyllic place more than 20 years ago. A craftsman who has found a way of not only expanding our appreciation of unique, handmade American art, but our awareness of conservation as well. Welcome to Cox Creek Mill and the Iron Gate Gallery, the home and studio of metalworks artist Bradley Cox and his family.
Hello, this is Brad Cox, and you're at Cox Creek Mill. I'm a local metal artisan, and this is my wife, Stephanie.
Hi.
And we would love to give you a personal tour of our place.
Built by Cox himself in 2009, every inch of the mill has been fashioned with the same attention to detail found in his art, creating, along the way, a home and gallery that is in itself a work of living art, crafted by hand as if it was part of the serene woodlands surrounding it. With works reflecting the natural world, but made almost exclusively with metals, Cox became an accidental conservationist, clearing the earth of discarded iron, steel, and tin, and using that scrap to fabricate brilliant, whimsical, and powerful masterpieces of original art.
I take reused and reclaimed metal and incorporate it into functional and non-functional things, but the difference a little bit what I do is sometimes you have to really look at something to discover what the piece is made out of. Like it may be a dragonfly and you recognize the shape of the dragonfly, but then it takes a little bit and you recognize that the tail is actually a walnut pick, you know, like your grandma's old nut set pick she used to have on a coffee table, and that tail is the walnut pick. And I can take a hog gate and you realize it's this fashioned big frame, it's on the wall, it's got a metal tree in it, but then you don't realize until you really inspect it that it's an old hog gate from a hog farm. It's probably been 80 years, you know, at a hog facility. And so a lot of things you really have to, I think people like to look at it a while. It's not just a shovel welded to a thing and, you know, it's a shovel bird. They really have to figure it out on their own, and they really feel like they've done something once they figure out the piece that it's made out of.
Well, this is a piece of iron, probably 80 to 100 years old. So he was able to save that, actually weld to it, which is pretty hard to do, and make this design. Every one of these is hand welded. Every one is filed, polished, hand welded. It takes a long time to do something this pretty and this ornate and unique. And all his stuff is kind of like that. He finds it and he brings it to life.
I like the trees. I like what he does. Most things that he does is from nature, and I like things natural too. So I love his woodpeckers that he does, his birds, but the trees are my favorite.
With nearly every square inch of its handcrafted walls and corners hung with original works, the Iron Gate Gallery at Cox Creek Mill seems almost alive with brilliant colors and designs that reflect an artist at the height of his creativity. With his reputation and the traffic to Cox Creek Mill growing by the day, Cox might be content to simply fill his gallery with new art and let the world come to him. But as New York's preeminent contemporary artist Romero Britto is quoted as saying, "Art is too important not to share." And nothing has ever been more true than in a case of Bradley Cox art. Fashioned not only as vibrant, unique works of art to admire, virtually all of his works literally engage the individual with elements and parts that Cox encourages viewers and patrons alike to interact with.
Yeah, so actually I made these flowers out of a discarded water meter cover. And so it actually looks like these spigot flowers are kind of growing, you know, out of the base of the water mirror. So a lot of the industrial welding that I did, we work on high pressure lines and gasoline flanges that would actually bolt together. So a lot of the applications, they would use these studs. So these studs, once you use them, you have to discard them because safety, they won't let you reuse them. So I get these from all over the country. I'll maybe get some of these from Whiting, Indiana. I'll maybe get some of these from Port Everglades in Florida. So it's kind of cool that these bolts were once in a facility with this loud, noisy refinery. And then next thing you know, I bring them all the way back here to Indiana. Then they leave my place and they go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee in somebody's yard. And the metal lasts forever. So it's kind of cool how long different pieces of metal travel.
In keeping with that philosophy, the Iron Gate Gallery is not the only place where one can enjoy, appreciate, and perhaps even play with Bradley Cox art, with permanent public displays in scores of businesses, community centers, and towns throughout the heartland, and of course, in Nashville, Indiana.
We took the children through the beta program, and they went to salvage yards, and he teaches a lot of art to these young people and how to repurpose items as they go searching and looking for treasures.
So this particular face, this little girl, she was 14 years old, her nickname was Cat, and she played baseball. She loved playing baseball. So she had the ideas of the whisker, and this is a drawer handle that she laid down, and I kind of helped her figure out how to make the eyes work. But you know, these are her ideas. This is a horseshoe with the bill of a hat. So you know, she liked baseball, and her nickname was Cat.
He really has an imagination. He can go out there in the morning and come back in, and every day he's just coming up with new ideas. I don't know how he does it, but he's really talented. He's a really talented artist, and he never stops thinking. He's always thinking of the next thing he can do.
Cox Creek Mill and the Iron Gate. Extraordinary and unique metal art from the hands, heart, and imagination of Bradley Cox, a genuine American original.